Yue knew that he would not be capable of taking them all on his own, especially on his condition. He might be able to slay 4 or 5 of them before falling to their onslaught. His best bet was charging through them and clear a path for his Empress so she could ride straight outside of the forest. But he could have stationed some of their men around the chariot to block the exit. His men would have to be sacrificed, as he quickly glanced over them. They were wide awake, but were struggling to get up on the horse. The effects of the poison were still very present. This was not the time to overthink. "Follow me, my Empress!" Yue gives a powerful shout, and his horse starts galloping forward. The bandit closest to him panics and manages to not get trampled. The second bandit, after seeing his comrade embarrass himself, frowns and prepares to pierce the warrior. Yue leans towards him, grabs his spear with his left hand, and quickly slashes through the bandit's chest without slowing down the horse. As soon as he grabbed the spear, he started spinning it in a frenzy while shouting. That didn't stop some bandits from trying their luck. 2 were cut down and another one was stabbed after dealing some minor injuries to the warrior. They were almost out of the clearing. But someone managed to stab the Empress's horse. The animal neighed and fell to the side. The Empress fell as well. Yue abruptly stopped his horse and rode back to assist her. One of the armed men had already jumped on top of her and was trying to subdue her. He was met with a small blade on his neck. As the bandit gripped his neck, fell to his side and started grasping for air and gagging on his own blood, the rest of the bandits cackled around him. Serves him right. I told you guys to kill this darn God of War knockoff. And you two, pick up those shovels already. You don't want to have those 2 guys get on the action and start swinging. You are way over your heads, you dirty rebel. After my army is done with this land, not a single plant will ever grow on this soil. There will be skulls spread around as far as the eye can see. Oh, we don't really care about the villages, darling. We were just packing till that old geezer came to tip us off on you fancy people. The bandit leader pointed towards the old man bleeding from the arrow. His eyes and mouth were wide open due to the bandit's revelation. He thought we would protect them or move them somewhere else or something. What a bunch of knuckleheads, said the bandit leader. Alright boys, grab her already and kill that guy. As they surrounded the Empress, she cursed at them in ways that they hadn't heard in their entire lives. Some of them involved their wives giving birth to frogs or their manhood being eaten by spirits at night. The warrior could not reach the Empress. He was surrounded by the bandits and did not have the momentum to break through their barrier. They were slowly approaching. He decided to fight his way nonetheless. His horse was also stabbed many times. He fell to his back and recovered as quickly as he could. The bandits were not able to attack him in time, but they had the advantage in numbers. Yue grabbed his spear from the ground with his 2 hands and started swinging it while turning around him. His body was not feeling well. Soon he would give out. The bandits noticed it. They started regaining their confidence and slowly enclosed him. He repelled their spears, but they continued. He repelled their spears one more time, but they still advanced. Yue was already at his limit. He would die for his Empress without thinking it twice, if it would mean their safety would be guaranteed. But the thought of not upholding his oath to his master troubled him even further. He decided to fight his way to her. As he yelled while charging towards the spear line closest to her, 10 spears were about to be thrusted on his body. A big explosion. The shockwave shook the bandits' legs and some of them fell to the ground by reflex. "What's going on?" screamed one of them as he ran in panic. It's the witch!" One of them pointed towards the hill. She was standing on the highest visible part of the slope. She was wearing another mask resembling the one that broke. "She's just a crazy woman, go after her!" Then she lifted her hand, and a few seconds later, another explosion was heard that ringed their ears, this time from the sky. Fireballs started falling from the sky. Some of them crashed against the ground, spreading fire at an amazing pace. Some bandits were unlucky enough to be standing where the fireballs fell. They became human torches as they ran and finally collapsed. The warrior took advantage of the commotion to break through their lines and released the Empress. He delivered a quick punch to one of her captors and a kick to the head to the second one. He then grabbed her by her arm and ran swiftly outside of the area while watching out for any incoming fireballs. She shook his arm off and kept following him. She was holding her clothing above her waist with both hands. Her hat had fallen amongst the confusion. Normally it will be a crime punishable by death to look directly at the Empress, but the situation was particularly special. Her beauty was so astonishing it made the death raining on the poor souls look like a fireworks spectacle. The last fireball had fallen. The clearing had been turned to ashes. Some of the fire had reached the river, which produced a sharp sound followed by vapor. Yue looked around the battlefield. The old man had died in flames. Their mortally injured horses died during the blast. The bandit leader was nowhere to be found, though. The other two warriors were missing. Probably their horses panicked and ran. They should not be very far. You have crossed your limits one too many times, you dim-witted rice-for-brains incompetent donkey with a sword! You dare to touch me, your Empress, as if I was a commoner in a villager's mid-autumn festival. I will be generously adding a day's worth of whip slashes by the time we get back to camp. Yue found the Empress's headdress. Somehow, it was intact. He picked it and went running towards her while looking on the ground. He gave it to her, and as she put it back, he got on his knees with his hands joined. I implore your Imperial Majesty to find the kindness on her heart to forgive this lousy soldier. My only intent... They heard footsteps. The witch was walking towards them. We shall continue this later. Don't even begin to think this conversation is over. The warrior nodded while not budging one single inch from his current position. So, you return to me, said the Empress boldly, again unfazed by the entire event that had just unfolded. Lu Tinks remained silent, as she was expecting something. I'll have you know that your father is in our custody and is currently serving as one of our imperial physicians. It would be hard to discard an individual of such talent. Despite the mask, it was obvious that Tink had given a sigh of relief. I want to see my father. On the condition that you carry your duties as a lead researcher at the Imperial Laboratory, said the Empress as she slowly walked from one side to another. I will. The Empress made a slight smile, but it could be described as wide comparing it to the ones she had previously shown. Lieutenant General Yue, rally the remaining soldiers and fetch me a horse. I've walked enough for today. As you command, your Imperial Majesty. Heaven's designs are inevitable, said the Empress as she glanced to the sky. The sun rays began to slowly and completely bathe them since no foliage obstructed them anymore. Oh, I almost forgot. When we get back to camp, make sure to give the order to raise the entire village. I hope you liked this video. If you would like me to make more videos of this kind, please leave a comment below. And also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And remember, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you're always welcome here.